My guest today is Maxwell George, SGA President, here to tell us a little about himself and the SGA and his plans for the SGA. Maxwell, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, sir.
And first and foremost, the new SGA President, tell us a little bit of your background. How did you end up here at Troy?
So in high school, I kind of had influence from being in Troy. I had friends and stuff, like Allison, like we were talking about earlier, was here. And I think a lot of people, when they come to Troy, it's not their first choice, but it ends up being the right choice at the end of the day. I had dreams of Florida State and things like that, and fortunately didn't get accepted to Florida State, but after a long process, and I was like, I think Troy, after taking my second tour here at Troy, and I sat in, I guess they say the decision room, I think that's when I decided like Troy's a place for me. And I kind of fell in love with the campus. Ever since here, like I remember taking a picture. I remember looking at it right after I won the election, and I was taking a picture right outside the baseball stadium. And I think that was the moment I knew, like, this is a place that I could come here, make a difference, and do great things. And I started off immediately once I got here. I was able to be selected for freshman forum. I've been in ROTC, and I was on the track team as well. So having all those things has been able to kind of like shape and mold me into what is today. And then throughout that freshman year, or end of it towards through COVID, Trojan ambassador, then was elected as a senator. So all that's kind of shaped and molded me and given me the abilities and kind of leadership opportunities to be able to see the differences and the things that can be addressed in the student body to be able to run for this position.
Now, did you always have aspirations for student government? Is this something you've had in your past, you did in high school and things like that, or is this something kind of a recent uptick in your interest?
So my dad was super involved in SGA and stuff throughout high school and college. My freshman year, I mean, obviously, like I believe leadership's something that develops and maturity in that. So I tried out for, or I guess interviewed for SGA high school. My freshman year, didn't get it, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll just leave that alone for now. And I always had friends and stuff like that in it, but I was actually in ROTC in high school, and I ended up being the highest ranking cadet in high school. And I've had good relations with Morgan Long when I first came here, and I was like, that's probably something I want to do and get involved in SGA. So that's why I applied for freshman forum, which is the freshman side of SGA. So I guess to really answer that question, I guess once I got to college, I guess that was my first step into SGA and be able to do student government at a university.
So at what point did you know you wanted to run for president?
I think it was at the end of my kind of the last couple meetings of being a senator, and there was a lot of things going on within the student body. I could see a lot of it, heard a lot of it, and I was like, I think I can make a difference doing this. I think I'm a good person that can be able to be the face of change at this university, that can lead us into a new time and a new era where our student body can join together. And I think looking at the ballot with other people, I feel like I had a lot of confidence in my abilities to win this election. And I think that's what really drove me, the want to change the student body for the good and be able to make a lasting impact, and then just the confidence and being able to assessing and be able to know what I need to do to campaign and hopefully win the election.
Well, and I can't let this slide without talking about the historic nature of this election. As a lot of it has been pointed out, the exec, which is the 5 members, the officers of the board, the first time in school history that all 5 have been African American. And what does that mean, especially in the current climate and what we're seeing around the country?
I think it's like a huge first step for anybody, for any executive board. I think we're really setting the way, and we're opening a door for future people to come. I think there's people at Troy Elementary that are looking up to us. People like my brother's 9 years old, so obviously he's seeing a group of African Americans being able to lead a university, but where we're considered the minority here. And I think that it means a lot for us because I think it's a chip on our shoulder, and I think that's something that we're going to take lightly. I think also with that, there's challenges that we're going to face, and there's adversity we're going to face, but I've always been told, like, don't live with complacency and don't shy away from challenges. So with that, I think that gives us more confidence, and I think this makes it want us work even harder to prove those who think that maybe because of that they're not qualified or they're not going to do as good a job. I think that's far from the truth, and I think we're going to do a great job because what I've told everybody from the beginning, we're extremely qualified for these positions. We weren't elected just because of the fact that we're going to be the first African American executive board. We all have extremely huge resumes, and I think that's what goes into it. And I think we're all going to do a great job this year.
And talking about a great job, what are your plans? Obviously, you've got some ideas of what you want to do next school year. What you're looking at?
So one of the biggest things is when I ran for presidency, I knew we had an inclusion and diversity problem here at Troy. We are the #1 international university, I believe, in the country, correct? And I think within that, I feel like we have kind of groups of people, and I don't think we're kind of a whole as like we were before. And I think part of that's due to COVID, I agree. But I think with that, we can come back together and make a sense of one Troy. And so one of the things I'm doing right now, the first step we're making, is we have a minority relations in my cabinet, which the list should be going out sometime today or tomorrow. And the first thing we're changing to diversity, equity, inclusion, which is a huge kind of name change to be able to address all needs at this university. We're creating a council within that with right now I think I have 11 people in it, and within that, we're going to address and tackle the need of inclusion and diversity at this university. And so I'm planning on making a certification for all organizations to be able to go to 5 classes a semester or conferences a semester to be able to hear the conversations, hear the needs, and hear the questions we have and everyone has, and to be able to be in a safe environment to be able to talk about those things. And I believe every organization and every student wants to say that they're working towards a cause greater than them. And I think if Troy University works together to be able to create more inclusion and more together, I think that's just perfect. And I think that's going to make a lasting impact further than I can see and further than I'm going to be at this university to see. Obviously,
and that sounds an impressive idea set right from the get-go. And obviously, you're the first, going to be the first exec that's going to handle things post-COVID, back to the return to normal. And I guess that's probably on your mindset as well.
For sure.
So
I think a biggest part of that is I think the freshman class this year didn't get the full experience that I got. I mean, I was a freshman last year. That was cut short the spring semester, so I'm not exactly sure what a spring semester looks like. So I think me and Miles and the rest of my crew, because these campus activities, we're going to do the best of our ability to hopefully give this past year's freshman class and this upcoming one the same experience that we had. I think that'll help spark more Trojan pride and more Trojan spirit into what it really means to be one Troy. And I think if that happens, I think that's the spark and start to what we're trying to do with diversity and inclusion. I think more people want to do more things, be more open to do things if we kind of give them that same experience, because there's a lot of freshmen that haven't done the Trojan run on the first football game and haven't been to some of the events that we have. So it's just hopefully getting those classes those freshman classes.
All that, bringing that together. Well, good luck. And Maxwell, I know this is the first of probably many discussions you and I are going to have on this set next year. Got a lot of plans and looking forward to seeing what you do. So thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.